Hello everyone, and welcome back to Midnight Tales Stories. Every now and then, I bring you stories that don't come from fiction, but from real people. Real experiences, shared online. Stories that feel impossible until they happen to you. And tonight's story is one of them. About 5 years ago, in a coastal town in England called Blackpool, a young woman, we'll call her Emily, moved into a small rented apartment. It wasn't anything special, just quiet, affordable, convenient. Emily lived alone. Her routine was simple: come home, cook dinner, maybe read a little, and sleep. Everything was normal. At first, a few nights after moving in, something changed. One night, as she lay in bed, she heard it. A faint sound coming from the closet. Not loud, just movement, like clothes, shifting slightly. Emily froze, her body went still, but her mind didn't. She told herself it was nothing, the building settling, maybe even a mouse. She got up, slowly, walked to the closet, and opened it. Nothing. But the sounds didn't stop. They came back the next night, and the next. At first, just soft rustling, but then something else. Whispers, very faint, barely there, but unmistakable. Voices. Now Emily checked the closet every night. Every time, nothing, no one, no explanation. Then one night, everything changed. She woke up again, to the sound, but this time, it was louder, closer. She sat up, her heart pounding hard enough to feel, step by step. She walked to the closet, her hand trembling slightly. As she reached for the handle, she opened it, and for a brief moment, she saw it. Two small reflections, low in the darkness, perfectly still, like eyes, looking straight at her. She jumped back, a sharp breath catching in her throat, then immediately stepped forward again, pulling the clothes aside. Nothing, just empty space. That's when the fear changed. This wasn't just nerves anymore. This was something else. Sleep became impossible. Her thoughts wouldn't stop. Was she imagining it? Or was someone actually inside her apartment? Later that night, around midnight, it happened again. But this time, it was different, because this time, the voice spoke. "Emily!" She froze, completely. Her blood ran cold, then again, closer this time. "Let me out!" Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Her body refused to move. Seconds felt like minutes. Minutes felt like forever. Finally, she grabbed her phone, turned on the flashlight, and aimed it toward the closet. Nothing. But then, something else caught her eye. On the inside panel, faint, almost invisible. Words, written from the inside. "He's still here." That was it. No hesitation, no second thought. She slammed the closet shut, grabbed whatever she could, and ran. That night, she stayed at her friend Sarah's place. Sarah didn't believe her, not at first. It sounded like stress, anxiety, imagination. But Emily refused to go back alone. So Sarah agreed, just for a few days. The next night, they returned. Together, everything felt normal, quiet, too quiet. Then, it started again. The same sound, the same whispers, and this time, Sarah heard it too. Her expression changed instantly. No doubt, no denial. This was real. Sarah grabbed a flashlight, walked to the closet, opened it. They both stared inside. Nothing, but the sound didn't stop. That was enough. They ran, again. The next morning, Emily reported everything. Management didn't fully believe her, but they agreed to check. A maintenance worker, Carl, arrived. He inspected the closet, carefully, knocking on the walls, listening. Then suddenly, he paused. Something wasn't right. Behind the back panel, he found it. A hidden opening, narrow, dark, leading into a space inside the wall, big enough for a person. Carl shined his flashlight inside, and what he saw confirmed everything. An old blanket, food containers, trash. Someone had been there, living there, right behind her closet, watching, listening, speaking. Emily couldn't process it. Her mind refused to accept it. How long Had that person been there? And worse, were they still there? The space connected to another part of the building, a hidden storage area, which meant whoever it was could come and go without anyone ever noticing. Emily didn't stay another day. She demanded her money back, got it, and left immediately. The person responsible was never found, and even now, Emily says she doesn't know what scares her more, the idea that it was a real person living just inches away from her, or the possibility that it wasn't. This family didn't just believe their house was haunted, they believed something followed them, not just inside the walls, not just at night, but even after they tried to leave. And what makes this case even more unsettling is that over 30 different people claim to witness parts of it. Welcome back to Midnight Tales Stories, where we explore real accounts of the unexplained. These are documented experiences reported by real people. What you choose to believe is entirely up to you. But this one doesn't stay in one place. In the summer of 1973, Jack and Margaret Harlow weren't looking for a new home. They needed one. A flood had taken almost everything they had, so they moved into a modest duplex in a quiet town in northeastern Pennsylvania. It wasn't ideal, but it was affordable. And after everything they had lost, it felt like a second chance. Jack worked long hours at a local office. Margaret stayed home with their 2 daughters, and right next door, separated only by a shared wall, lived Jack's elderly parents. At first, everything felt normal, but that didn't last. It started small, the kind of things you explain away. Jack's tools began disappearing, not misplaced, gone. He checked every box, every drawer, nothing. Then the walls, freshly painted, but within days dark stains began bleeding through. They repainted, the stains came back, again, and then the smell, not constant, not predictable, but when it came it filled the entire house, damp, rotten, like something decaying just out of reach. They searched for it, inside the walls, under the floors, nothing. Then 2 small fires broke out in the kitchen. No cause, no explanation. An inspector checked everything. Wiring was fine, structure was fine, everything looked normal. For a while, they told themselves the same thing. It's just an old house. But then something changed. Helen, Jack's mother, was the first to say it. She said she could hear someone calling her name, not from outside, not from another room, from inside the house. And the voice sounded exactly like her own. Margaret heard it too. Same voice, same tone, the same impossible detail. Jack didn't believe it. Neither did his father. They blamed stress, the move, everything the family had been through, but then neighbors started noticing something. On nights when the house was empty, they heard screaming. A woman screaming from inside. Lights off, no one home, just screaming. And still, no one wanted to say it out loud. Then came the night that changed everything. Margaret woke up suddenly. There was no sound, no movement, just a feeling that she wasn't alone. The air felt heavy, hard to breathe, and then she felt something grab her. Not a dream, not sleep paralysis, something physical. She said it was pulling her, dragging her toward the edge of the bed. She screamed. Jack woke instantly, and for a moment he saw something, a dark shape, close to her. Then he turned on the light, and it was gone. Margaret was on the floor, shaking so badly she couldn't stand. After that night, everything changed. Their daughters refused to sleep alone. Every noise mattered, every shadow meant something. Then days later, a heavy glass ceiling fixture fell without warning. It shattered across the room. One of the daughters was cut badly, arms and face. There was no visible reason it came loose, no warning signs, nothing. That's when they stopped asking why. They just wanted it to stop. Eventually, word spread, and the case reached a well-known pair of paranormal investigators, who had spent years studying cases like this. They stayed in the house for months, recording, observing, listening. Their conclusion was that the house wasn't just active, they believed multiple presences were there. And more importantly, they believed those presences weren't tied to the house. They said something far more disturbing, that whatever was there could attach itself to people. But not everyone agreed. A behavioral researcher dismissed the case. He said it was psychological, stress, fear, suggestion. A university professor went further. He pointed out that Jack had undergone brain surgery, a condition that could affect perception and memory. His conclusion was that this wasn't paranormal, it was human. Jack rejected that completely, because according to him, over 30 people had witnessed something connected to that house. 30 people. That's a lot of people to be wrong, and yet, despite everything, the family stayed there. Not for months, not for a year, for nearly 15 years. Why? Because they had nowhere else to go. The flood had taken everything. This house was all they had left, so they stayed until the late 1980s, when they finally left. Quietly, no interviews, no attention, just gone. Then someone else moved in. Same house, same walls, same history. And according to her, nothing happened. No voices, no smells, no shadows, just a normal house. But the investigators never changed their conclusion. They believed one thing above everything else, that whatever was there didn't belong to the house. It attached to the people. So here's the question no one has ever answered. When the Harlow family finally left, did the house become quiet because it was empty or because it wasn't alone anymore? That's the story of the Harlow family. If you made it this far, thank you. These stories take time, and real cases like this don't always have clear answers. If you want more stories like this, subscribe and turn on notifications, because some stories don't end when you think they do. And tonight, before you go to sleep, just take a second, look around your room and ask yourself, is everything here supposed to be? She was gone for 20 years, not dead, not asleep. In any normal sense, her body kept breathing, her heart never stopped, but her mind was unreachable. And then one day, without warning, she came back, and what she said first made doctors question everything. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Midnight Tales Stories. Some cases don't just feel rare, they feel impossible. Tonight's story isn't just about survival, it's about something far more disturbing. What might still be there, even when someone seems completely gone. September 20th, 1984. A cold, rainy night in a quiet American town, Hutchinson. 18-year-old Sarah Scantlin had just stepped out of a restaurant with her friends. She was laughing, relaxed. Her life had just begun. College, plans, a future waiting for her. And then, in a single moment, everything changed. A car lost control in the rain. The driver, later reported to be impaired, never saw her. There was no time to react. 1 second she was standing there. The next, she was completely still. She was rushed to the hospital, then airlifted miles away. Severe brain trauma, internal injuries. Doctors performed emergency surgery. Her family was warned. Even if she survived, she might never come back. The surgery worked. Her body survived. But Sarah didn't wake up. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. Months into years. No movement, no voice, no sign she was aware. Her family stayed. They spoke to her every day, played her favorite songs, told her stories, hoping somehow she could hear them. But there was never any response until something changed. Years later, small sounds began to happen. At first, doctors called them reflexes, but the timing felt wrong. The sounds came when someone spoke to her. Sometimes It sounded like a scream, not random, not controlled, but not empty either. It felt like something was trying to break through. And this is where it becomes unsettling, because some neurologists believe patients in long-term comas may still process sound, which means there's a possibility she heard everything, every voice, every conversation, every moment her family sat beside her, waiting for years, unable to respond, unable to move. Imagine being there, hearing your loved ones cry, and having no way to tell them you're still inside. Still, there were no words, no clear awareness. So life continued, day after day, year after year, until finally, after nearly 2 decades, something impossible happened. In early 2005, a nurse noticed something strange. Sarah's lips were moving at first. It didn't make sense, just fragments, broken sounds. But then, slowly, it became clear. She was trying to speak. Her family received a call they never expected again. She's talking. They rushed to the hospital, and when they walked in, everything had changed. For the first time in 20 years, she looked at them and recognized them. She smiled. And then, after decades of silence, she said something. Not confusion, not fear, something completely normal. She asked if her makeup was okay. 20 years gone. And her mind picked up exactly where it left off, as if no time had passed, no memory of the years, no sense of being gone. Which raises a question no one could answer. Where was she all that time? Doctors tried to explain it, neuroplasticity, brain recovery, but even then, cases like this are extremely rare. And then came the most disturbing possibility. What if she wasn't gone? What if she was aware the entire time, trapped inside her own body, listening, waiting, existing, but unable to prove it for 20 years? Sarah continued her life under care. She wasn't fully recovered, but she was there, present, aware, alive. And her story left something behind, something difficult to ignore. Because if the mind can stay awake, even when the body cannot, then maybe the real question is, how many people are still in there, waiting to be heard?
I didn't believe in places that erase people, not metaphorically, I mean literally. People don't just disappear. There is always a trace, a wound, a footprint, a witness. But this case had none of that. Because in this story, people did not just go missing. They were slowly forgotten. And the most disturbing part, no one realized it was happening until it was too late. It started in a quiet mountain town called Aldmary. Population just under 4,000. The kind of place where everyone knows your name and your routine. The first person was a school teacher. Her name was Laura Bent. She taught English, lived alone, no enemies, no problems. One Monday morning, she simply did not show up to school. At first, no one panicked. People assumed she was sick. But when the principal called her phone, it was disconnected. Her house locked from inside, car in the driveway, keys on the table, kitchen. Everything normal except her. Police searched the area, no signs of struggle, no forced entry, no evidence she left, just absence. And what made it stranger? Half the town could not even clearly remember talking to her in the last few weeks. A few weeks later, something disturbing happened. A journalist from the nearby city came to investigate. He started interviewing residents, and that is when things broke reality. Some people remembered Laura vividly. Others said, I think I have heard that name before, maybe. And a few said something even worse. Was she actually a teacher here? The journalist noticed something odd. The more he asked, the more people seemed unsure about basic details of their own town. Then another person disappeared, a local mechanic, David Carter, same pattern, no goodbye, no trace. But this time, even his own brother was not fully sure what he looked like anymore. And that is when the journalist wrote in his notebook, "This is not missing person, this is a memory erosion." The journalist stayed longer, and what he discovered changed everything. There was a pattern. People who disappeared had one thing in common. They were all low social visibility. No social media activity, few close relationships, quiet routines, minimal public presence. It was like the town was filtering them out, but not physically, mentally. He started calling it the forgetting effects, and then he noticed something terrifying. The town itself was subtly correcting reality. Photos were changing, records were missing names, even graveyards have blank headstones where names used to be, as if reality itself was editing them out. The journalist tried to report it, but his editor replied, "We don't have anyone named Laura Bent in our record." He checked his own notes. Laura file was gone. He checked his recording. Audio was scrapped. Then something worse happened. He tried interviewing people again, and now people started saying, "You were probably confused. This town has not had any disappearances." It was as if the story was collapsing in real time, like the truth itself was being overwritten. And then the final twist, the journalist checked into his hotel. The receptionist looked at him and said, "Sorry, do you have a reservation?" His name was not in the system, not missing, not cancelled, just never exists. Now, here is where things become hard to explain, because there are only two possibilities. Either, number one, this town had phenomena that erase human memory selectively, or two, the human mind itself is more fragile than we understand. Because if a person stopped being remembered completely, did they ever truly exist in a social sense? And more importantly, what happened when enough people are forgotten that even history stopped protecting them? No official records of Aldermary exist today. Maps skip over it, databases don't return it. Even satellite images are inconsistent. But some researchers claim if you zoom into a certain mountain range at night, you can still see faint lights, like a town that refused to fully disappear. And if that's true, then the real horror is not that people can be forgotten. It is that something might be actively deciding who gets remembered and who does not. Because the scariest thing in this world is not death. It is being erased while you are still alive. So don't forget to subscribe this channel and press the bell icon for new updates. Thanks for watching.